Hello everybody, it's me, it's Mr. 789 here on this glorious day of March. What is it? Ah, crap, I really should look at these things before the chaos. March 22nd, 2017, where we do not have any cringy videos, only fond, nostalgic memories. At least that's how I'm going to play it off. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of New Cook Precinct, representing our red team player, it is mrGBG, whom for the sake of simplicity we shall call mrGBG. And his opponent spawning in the bottom right hand position of New Cook Precinct, representing the same player except he's blue, he is PlayAround. Playing for Core Gamer, as is noted by his little spindly thing on his main Nexus or command center thingy. I got him around myself to get one of those bad boys. It looks so cool. Looks like oh, actually, let's take a look at the message log. I feel like that's a little important. Oh crap! I have to stop the whole thing. Okay. Okay, nope, Berliner. Ooh. Oh, good. From Germany, you. Berliner, nope, Colin. Ah, okay. Okay, so they're both from Germany. Alright, so we got that out of the way. So, you know what? Knowing that at least one of these are from Germany, that makes me believe that they are immediately a German pro gamer. Yeah, very nice alcohols, Mr. GBG says. He says they're cheap too, which would only mean a couple of things. One is that our friend Mr. GBG, is a connoisseur of the liquors, and the other one is that he feels the need to comment it in a Starcraft 2 match, because hey, why the hell not? Beer for President says Mr. PlayAround. Or PlayAround, I guess. They don't have a left shot. Yes, that's a no, Mr. PlayAround. Beer for President. I would say that'd be a step up in the right direction, but hey, who am I to make a political statement on anything? I didn't do my research. I always love to see some nice friendly banter in-game. It reminds our players that they are human, that they're not trying to BM each other. They're just a couple of guys trying to have fun playing the greatest game that was ever invented in the history of universe kind. Alright, let's see what our players are up to. Mr. GBG, not going for any sort of one-base expansion sort of build just yet. Wants to definitely lay on some pressure. Has his barracks and his factory up and going. However, from PlayAround, that second gas is much quicker. So it's gonna have a little bit more tools to his disposal at the expense of some minerals. Can't wait to see what he plans to do with that. Whew. I'm gonna try. Here's a couple of things while we wait for this game to go ahead and get ready. I'm gonna try to go ahead and go back to the one video a day kind of schedule, because I think I can fit it on in. You know, I mean, like what, 40 minutes a day, a maximum. You know, just to get the games out, just to start casting. It's something I've really started to enjoy more and more, folks. I tell you, this is something much better than heroin. Not that I've tried heroin, but let me tell you, that feeling you get of injection coursing through your veins compares nothing to a good old Starcraft 2 Shoutcraft hype. League, I'm pretty sure this is Diamond League in case you did. Oh, okay, it's in chat. Never mind. Looks like our friend PlayAround's Reaper is gonna go ahead and try to go up the ramp, but does get rebuffed by submarines. Playing with a lot of fuego is this Reaper. Needs to be careful. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Marines do 6 damage a shot. Don't kill me, I'm not a Terran player. I am just a very confused Protoss player. It's either 6 or 4, I forget. I don't know. Anyways, PlayAround. Both players seem to be going for similar builds, except for composition. So we have a handful of Marines for Mr. RGB, or Mr. Well, let's call him GBG. So GBG has a nice handful of Marines, getting a Liberator, getting some Marines and a tank. It's almost as if he's playing a Protoss and doing that good old-fashioned, like, Marine tank Liberator force that hasn't been around since forever. I don't really know why people stopped doing it. I thought it was pretty good, honestly, like a pretty strong build, but hey, who am I to say where the wind blows, where the water flows? PlayAround now has 3 Reapers here, so if these two decide to get busy, this one can go ahead and watch. Meanwhile, Mr. GBG's push out is here. It's going to be 1 tank and a handful of Marines. Not sure how much damage that is going to do, especially with 2 Cyclones. Especially, where the hell? Oh, okay. Things get a lot more complicated nowadays since 3 Reapers do not a Marine tank push beat. However, there's not really much back at home. There's what, 8 tank? Actually, that's a whole lot better than nothing, actually. So maybe you can hold this off, but okay, the tank gets rallied, and yeah, okay, this is very bad. So we're just not gonna look at that. We're gonna focus on the positives of this cast. Mr. GBG's his push is looking pretty swell. At the very least, this command center is probably gonna go down under a lot of fire. Siege tanks sending on up, sprouting a couple of ultra legs, making itself officially an insect. And these command center is gonna go down. There we go. Does get the cancellation. That is pretty huge, folks. And now this Liberator camping the production, actually stopping the ramp too. What are those seeds? Where did those? What happened to those oh, okay. So Cyclones did get a couple kills, but decided to come on back for their defense. But I don't know. The siege has already begun. He's effectively lost his reactors. They're just getting. These Marines are just gonna snipe as they come out. Gonna go ahead and try to lock onto this Liberator, but it's gonna go ahead and retreat. Very wise play. I think we may just be having an early game here, folks. In which case, I think I may have to cast another game because I am not about those 5-minute casts, boy. I am in it for the endurance. I am a marathon caster. I once streamed / casted for 9 hours straight, but enough of my own humble brags that essentially everyone hates and does nothing for anyone. Let's go ahead and focus on the push. The siege is getting stronger and stronger. The barracks has been relocated, but the factory is under attack, and looks like it is barely gonna survive. Factory is so important. If you're a Protoss player out there, losing a factory in a TvT push is like losing your robotics facility. Getting one based all in the PvP. It's a tough analogy, I know, but I didn't make it clear. But hey, I hope you guys realize that it is not good to lose that factory. Meanwhile, it looks like this push is getting rebuffed, and the Viking does get the hell exploded out of it. Medevac, just a little bit of hull damage getting done on that. Not the biggest of dealios, Emilios, and looks like mrGBG is going to go ahead and retreat, taking 2 command centers behind this. Wow, someone likes his money, money, money. PlayAround, meanwhile, only has the more modest 1 command center because he is not going to play around with that good old adage when you know, folks. sometimes here's the thing. Sometimes I say things and I don't really know where the sentence is going. I just kind of cross my fingers and pray to good old Diddy Kim that all will turn out for the best, and 9 times out of 10 it does. But then every once in a while you get a vocal flub the size of the Manhattan Project, and oh boy, folks, it is hard to recover. But you know what? Anything is possible on this cast. If we crash and burn, we will skid to mission control. God damn it! Looks like this 3rd command center is almost done, as well as the 2nd. I actually think the 2nd is gonna finish, and then the 3rd. And mrGBG is actually up a lot of. I mean, it's in a pretty good position. 6 workers here from PlayAround. I'm supposing that was from the Cyclone harass. However, that is not enough to get him back into this game. 29 to 31 total workers and 22 to 28 total armor supply. GBG not even doing that bad in as far as this triple expansion build goes with the army. PlayAround finally gonna float on over and morph his Open Command, but I think it is getting a little bit late, folks. Looks like he does have a small worker advantage of around 3 or 4-ish. Gonna go ahead and shoot out that fatty transfer to this natural base location. 7 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, and both players have kind of settled down right now. Looks like our friend PlayAround does have Stim up and upgrading, which we can see no player has any upgrades right now, so it's gonna have that before his opponent. This double reactor build, if I'm not mistaken, was a every term player in the audience, watch as the Protoss player tries to analyze TvT. I'm guessing this double reactor is a reaction to It's a reaction to the early game push. He didn't know if he were able to hold on, so he wanted to get these early so he could have enough bio to hold on. But now he doesn't have any tech labs, so he can't get that combat shields. He can't get that Marauder slow. Not that you really want it. And at least that's my theory. I think ideally he would want to have another tech lab, but you know what? Probably going to be a little inconsequential this game as Sim is finishing on up, and there is actually a decently chunked army over here. 30 to 45 total army supply. Take a look at the unit stat. 1 medevac to 1 medevac, 14 Marines to 15, but 14 with Sim beats 15 without. And the siege tank has now officially tipped in the favor of our friend PlayAround, and he has a Raven. So you know what? Actually a pretty scary position is our friend GBG finding himself in. This high ground location is going to go ahead and get sieged on up. Does scan, but not in time. The tank does go down. 3 siege tanks able to shut it down immediately, and looks like our friend PlayAround is doing what he can, denying mining of the space, getting himself in a fantastic siege position. Meanwhile, PlayAround doesn't want to try to go into the main. I don't think that's wise. A good lane in Mr. Church should rebuff any of those attempts. Looks like the siege tank is trying to go on up, but does get picked on off. He does not have that Viking vision, and does end up going down. Viking versus Viking wars. This Viking is the linchpin of this offensive move from our friend PlayAround. Well, not really, but it's pretty damn important, folks. Looks like a point to Ventron actually going down, which only works if GBG doesn't macro very well. Looks like he does pull away just in time, so nullifying that PDD as well as he can. Still an auto turret up and going. He can try to pick off a tank with it. I mean, auto turrets just massacre the hell out of whatever they want. The good thing is that they don't live long, which, hey, you know what? Makes them at least a little bit more balanced. I kind of missed the 30-second auto turrets, but not as much as you may think, folks. And I think mrGBG actually may have to see this location. He's losing tanks relentlessly, and that is something he cannot be doing. Without combat shields, these Marines are getting shredded by the bio. And it looks like this third base now is under assault. The stim hasn't been activated. It looks like the Marines are getting a little bit feisty, but are they getting ahead of themselves? I think so. Need to back to the safety of those tanks. Is he parade pushing? No, we just trying to back at home a little bit defensively. 40-40-30 total workers. PlayAround still needs to do a little bit, but mrGBG has been bleeding off army left, right, and center. What does he have? Like 2 tanks and a handful of Marines? That is not nearly enough. If tank evacs were still a thing, I assure you, mrGBG would have the shit tank evac out of him. Just like, and then 50 tanks appear out of nowhere and siege him to death. However, this is a chess game now that tank evacs have been removed, so positioning is all so important for the Terran race. So when you have it in the TvT, folks, sometimes a 38 armor supply can stop 64. And looks like PlayAround does realize this, heads around back home for now. Does he have any medevacs in production? He has some pretty hurt bio, but no. A big swath of unhurt bio to go ahead and complement this force is actually pretty damn nice. Looks like our friend PlayAround finally not actually getting any medevacs. I really don't like that decision, as it doesn't let his bio units get on healed up. But you know what? Whatever, stay injured. I'm a Protoss player. I could not care less. Looks like this medevac full of Marines is going to go ahead and try for a drop without stim, though. I think it's going to be a little bit of a predicament. Stim only like, what, a quarter of the way down at the 11 minute mark? GBG, that got us sting just a little bit. Medevac is going to go ahead and drop into this natural base location. We're going to assume death and destruction, so yep. Meanwhile, our friend PlayAround is going to go ahead and try to get a good siege position. Is he just going to go for it? I think so. Meanwhile, drop commencing over the natural base location. Not much to defend against. It does get the stem on forward. Tries to focus down the tanks, and he does get them. It looks like mrGBG did not have enough on the ground, and the Orbital Command is getting focused on down. I just don't think there's enough defense. He has 2 tanks, maybe. But we saw what he did to 2 tanks. He just stemmed right the hell on top of it. And oh boy, this is starting to get pretty damn dicey for our friend GBG. He does have this job that's trying to do some work, picking up a couple of workers here and there, but PlayAround more than content to pay back the favor and then some. He is very thorough on his deaths, folk. Yeah, you know what's weird? I'm gonna go off on a tangent here if nobody minds, but you know what's weird? I've never heard everyone use a singular form of the word folks. Right? Right? I mean, like, I've never heard somebody call someone like a folk. Like, you can talk to them folks over there, but you can't tell that folk to come on with you, right? Like, hey, you folk, get over here. It sounds like I'm swearing at him. Ugh. So, lesson of the day, folks should always be used in its plural form. And let's go ahead and analyze the hell out of this game, because that is what we are here to do. Looks like our friend mrGBG, as we saw, did lose that orbital command in that last engagement, so it's going to have to rebuild it over here. And now PlayAround suddenly finds himself in somewhat of a comeback position. Healing the SCVs is the traitor medevac. Needs to be healing her bio units. I mean, okay, 2 more medevacs just go ahead and finish on up, but they need to be down here healing the buyer. This medevac can't do it all by her lonesome. Does pick on, probably gonna go for some sort of push, but meanwhile mrGBG is thinking the same thing and is gonna set up a nice siege position. If you can't beat him, hey, just join him. So nice little bit of deja vu to start off this counter push. We see tanks pretty strong. I don't know, looks like he's gonna hurry and try to break it. Funneling through, the Marines taking some serious casualties, and it looks like this may have been a bluff engagement from our friend PlayAround, losing every single Marine. That's not how you engage that. Meanwhile, dropping the main base is getting cleaned up somewhat by our friend PlayAround, keeping some Marines in the main base wisely enough. Still very low on medevacs, but hey, very low. Can't be low on medevacs if you're low on Marines, am I correct, folks? Looks like these tanks may very well just get focused on down. There's yes, okay, so the Marines are okay, so that tank survives. And probably gave PlayAround a micro aneurysm there, but aside from his issues, it looks like he's doing still pretty alright. PlayAround has a medevac full of Marines, or now not full of Marines, about to stim onto this unsuspecting mineral line, do horrible things to him with ghost rifles. I just hope that will occur eventually. Okay, even though I didn't end up seeing it, we all know what happened here. It's something we've all wanted to do, but have never quite had the opportunity to do so. I think this is just a beautiful thing. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing, and should not be underappreciated. 1 mule for 1 siege tank, held to the Yekko. This guy, our friend PlayAround, still in a pretty strong defensive position. Really needs to do something with his drop, and he heard me. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna go away from the action. Looks like this whole SUV line, actually a lot of massacre going on down, and this airbase location may be seated once more. That's it, morphing to a planetary there, and planetaries are not happy when their SCVs get attacked. Gonna go ahead and pick up and boost off. Good play from my friend PlayAround. And man, this is a crazy game so far. Let's look at the upgrades. It's 2-2 for our friend GBG versus the 1-1. I'm a friend PlayAround. PlayAround not just starting his +2/+2, so a very back and forth GBT. I'm very excited to see what this goes, folks. Split ban situations, of course, very. Oh, ripping pepperonis, mule. Your sacrifice to the swarm will not be forgotten. I mean the Dominion. The Dominion. Okay. Looks like the Viking Wars 2-1, surprisingly enough. It looks like they are going to start to pick up the medevacs. No, just get away just in the nick of time. With these debris just being an ever-blasting nuisance for our friend PlayAround. This is why some tier players have resorted to just taking the bases up here. There's so much less of a hassle. Speaking of bases up here, there's actually a base here. Hey, so that exists, and I am an okay-ish counselor. Not good, but I'll just call myself okay-ish because I managed to notice it when it was right in front of my face. 4th command center is on the way for our friend GBG, so not falling behind too far in the macro department. 70-73 total army supply. 53 to 55 workers, 125 supply total to 130, folks. This game is pretty damn even, Steven. However, that may just change here pretty soon. 4 tanks completely unsupported. Gonna go ahead and get focused down. The Marines just relentlessly taking them out. 2 siege tanks does not beat a handful of Marines with a medevac support, especially on siege. And it looks like PlayAround finding himself with a nice pick off there. Finds himself up 60 in supply. How many tanks? 7 tanks to 7, actually equaling things on up. And it looks like that one's an orbital, but this one's a planetary fortress. I will not try to understand what is happening here. 2nd factory is finished on up for both players. In fact, I think our friend GBG has a 3rd factory. There we go. 1, 2, 3 factories for our friend GBG to the 1, 2 of our friend PlayAround. And PlayAround needs to make something happen. He has a nice supply lead, but Mr. GBG has a production lead. This triple siege tank production is going to absolutely smack him down if he lets it get to an unrelenting number. And speaking of unrelenting numbers, it's not really quite a number, but it's a geometric establishment, a line, an unrelenting line. I'm pretty sure this is going to be very hard to break, no matter the position of our friend PlayAround. So if you can't kill the siege tanks, just go right around them. And that very well will be a game-winning move for our friend PlayAround. This orbital command, okay, so it does get spotted on up. He's not trying to respond, or is that from Mr. GBG? But I think it's a little bit too late. The sister got seen you going up. There was no sensor tower to sense this. And this planetary fortress taking critical amounts of damage. I mean, it's either lose a planetary or lose the SCBs and the planetary. Actually, he is out healing it, which is kind of astounding. And actually decides to pull the SCBs in the defense. Doesn't want to lose the planetary no matter what. Believe it. And it looks like those siege tanks are sieging on up. I think our friend Mr. GBG may have been a little bit too confident, but no, everything is getting cleaned on up, and Mr. GBG finds himself pushing away the attack of PlayAround. But at what cost? He lost every single SCV. Look at that. 47 workers killed for our friend PlayAround. 33 workers to 61. 45 army to 60. And our friend Mr. GBG is looking down and looking out. 2 medevacs are going to go ahead and retreat on home, and it looks like he knows he has to get some magic done. 1 siege tank left behind, behold on the front. Here we go, folks. He is not going to let anyone get past him, except if it's a chain that's already morphed, or an observer, or anything that's cloaked, or if something gets too close to him. Other than that, good luck getting past that bad boy. We'll call him Richie, and I expect Richie to die any second now. So let's go ahead and look away from our friend Richie. Nothing is directly threatening Richie, of course, but hey, it's Richie, man. Come on. Meanwhile, GBG gonna go ahead and try to repay the favor. This has just been one player just smacking each other down, copying each other's moves left, right, and center. And it looks like these siege tanks are sieging on up. The planetary is in danger. Is PlayAround gonna pull his own SCVs? That would just be a whole lot of hilarity. But no, there's no marine support for these tanks. It's gonna drop right on top of the army. Looks like the siege tanks are getting obliterated. Trading out a couple of medevacs for a bunch of siege tanks, and it looks like that got very handily cleaned on up. Oh, I heard something. Well, probably just a ping. Meanwhile, in the land of Richie, all was calm, all was quiet, all was peaceful, and his gun was green and life was good. But on the opposite side of the map, his compatriots have just taken a large blow. In fact, getting caught with his pants down is our friend Mr. Emmer, is our friend GBG, and losing all of his siege tanks, losing the medevacs too. This is looking pretty damn grim, folks. 105 to 160. He will need a miracle of epic proportions. to come back from this one, and all good miracles. Starting with a misplay. The Marine just walking on forward into the siege tank fire, taking a bunch of free shots. And folks, I don't think he has enough to break this. PlayAround. And with that, folks, the game gets just a little bit better. Is Richie still there? Thank God we still have Richie, folks. Looks like everyone PlayAround is going to go ahead and retreat, much to the content of Richie smiling as he thought he did something, but in reality, all is good in the hood for Richie. But Richie, deep down, knew there were many socio-economic problems in the hood that could not be fixed by mere siege positions. Poor Richie. Big doom drop. Oh, not big doom drop. Big siege position. Big siege position coming out for our friend mrGBG. Trying to hold this location for God knows what reason. I don't think it's a very tactile position to hold because Marines can come from every which okay, so we're just taking out the debris. Okay, mrGBG definitely has some sort of strategy. 103 to 136 total supply. PlayAround finds himself in a good position. Again, it's 50 to 61 total workers, but needs to control his army just a little bit better. He does have the army supply advantage once again, 76 to 53. If we take a look at the units tab, it is 10 siege tanks to 7. So mrGBG does have the position going for him. However, Newkirk Precinct, if you haven't noticed, it's a big map, especially with Richie. Indeed, there are all sorts of thinking opportunities in this natural base location and this 5th base location. I mean, it's just a nightmare to hold off on. This is pretty damn easy to hold off on if you can tell your opponent's going there, but still, it is not going to be an easy hold as PlayAround pushes himself toward this 6th base location. More likely than not, it's going to get a cancel. Siege tanks rolling on forward. Oh, here's a little cool thing. I never knew that siege tanks had shreds. I mean, obviously they have to have shreds, but I never even noticed them before. Hey, learn something new every day, right? It's like their shoes, except they move in a circle and are treads. Sensor tower has come up for from PlayAround as we hit the 21-minute and 4-second mark just to scout any sort of offensive toward this 3rd base location. Who can blame him, really? I mean, we saw what they can do. What our players can do when they have a location over here to siege on up. No. When we've seen what our players can do when they're moving undetected. So PlayAround definitely playing around that one aspect of the game. Does he have any medevacs? He actually has a grand total of, let's see, 3 medevacs, but they are just finishing production. So I am concerned for him, especially if he doesn't engage into this. He is not backing away. He's just kind of pushing himself upfield. What is he doing? Horrible. Okay, good. Does get the stem one down. Does take up the Marine. Let's see, thankfully there was no Marine support. And actually, that turned out a whole lot better for our friend PlayAround than I would have given him credit for. Marines do end up retreating for the time being. However, siege tanks are pretty damn angry, but happy that the Marines are overstimmed as hell. Needs to sprint this Marine just a little bit better. The ragdoll animation. I am so glad I turned you on. A sentence I probably only ever going to say once in my life. Now sieging up again. The Viking trying to fly out over. Can they get some work done? No, trying to drop on top of the siege tank directly. He is doing fairly well. Gets 1, maybe 2 siege tanks for his trouble. Yes, that's end up picking up 2. And now with the siege position going on up, can he break through? PlayAround needs to support him. Can he do it? No, just got cleaned up. The strong siege tank backbone of mrGBG doing wonders for him. Look at this. This triple factory production has absolutely paid for itself in Californium 242. I would say gold, but Californium 242 is a lot more valuable, folks. So, and the music is epic to go ahead and account for it as well. That is just lovely, folks. Meanwhile, our friend mrGBG trying to repay the favor in this action-packed TvT. Will it end now? I have absolutely zero no idea, folks. Marine's gonna go ahead and get shelled down, losing a couple before the game even starts. No, PlayAround! No! Oh my God! You're gonna paint the town red if you keep doing like those kind of maneuvers. PlayAround needs to not still enter 90 tanks like that. It's okay. PlayAround still finds himself 61 to 51 total workers. However, as far as mining bases go, I think I have to give that advantage to our friend mrGBG. But no, looking at the income, we do see our PlayAround still has a nice income advantage. Going to be enjoying that for quite a while, as it seems. And it looks like our friend PlayAround trying to break this position. Does have these fancy maneuvers to drop out the tanks, but lacks those core fundamentals of siege tank Marine engagements, and I feel like that's what is holding him back this game. Needs to repair this planetary fortress as well, or it's just going to kaput. And down that bad boy goes. That wasn't nearly enough, heck. And down the planetary fortress goes! The Marine standing in the crater of its fallen enemies, shooting its Gauss rifle, which I'm not sure does 6 damage or 4 damage. Please let me know in the comments down below. PlayAround needs to stem on forward, split his Marines, and take care of these things like that, but no! Gonna suffer some unnecessary losses, and it looks like he is gonna get cleaned up in the end. 2 mining bases to 2 mining bases. So PlayAround still has the advantage in that regard. And ooh, getting caught with the fence that is mrGBG. You need Marines to support their C6, and they do end up going on down. Repositioning this command center to go ahead and mine optimally. It is now currently 170 to 170 total supply. It is about as even as Stevens get, folks, and I cannot say with confidence who's going to win this game. Let's take a look at the units tab then, shall we? Let's see, 24 Marines, 8 Vikings, and no siege tanks. Oh, and no siege tanks? No siege tanks. Lots of death very quick is in the forecast, folks, and this orbital command is going to get focused down by the Marines almost assuredly. There are no siege tanks here versus the 2 siege tanks ever from PlayAround, and we all know who doesn't win that battle. That's right, our friend mrGBG. This orbital command may actually just end up floating to safety, which yippee-ki, yay, now you're not dead. Can't say the same thing for mrGBG though for very long. I feel as though, oh, actually, maybe yes, guys, PlayAround is going to go ahead and try to retreat. Does realize he has some sort of an advantage here. 81 to 121 total supply. I think PlayAround is starting to bring it back, folks. He has 1, 2, 3 mining bases to the 1, 2 mining base, or we'll just call it 1 mining base over from PlayAround, and things all looking as gristly as in mediocrely cooked steak. What? Okay, what's that adjective for mediocre? Mediocrely? Poorly. Ah, it's just poorly. When in doubt, folks, the simplest answer is often the most correct answer. Good advice for Starcraft, and if it's good advice for Starcraft, it is good advice for life. Taking another mining base is our friend PlayAround. I feel like, though, he has got this one in Schrodinger's bag, where he probably has it, but he can still probably collapse everything if he just screws up. Shit. Damn, that's supposed to be a good physics reference. Anyways, that is not what is on the menu, apparently. No! Where's Richie? Okay, we'll just assume this is Richie. He moved. He's in a different siege position, okay? It's not another siege thing. That's Richie. Ugh. Richie's not dead. Okay, looks like a friend PlayAround. PlayAround is gonna go ahead and retreat because of Richie's awesome siege defense. And it looks like he's gonna play it more defensive man now. That 1 siege string doing wonders for our friend mrGBG. Gonna go ahead and retreat over to this. Okay. Oh, okay. I was wondering why he was retreating. Okay. I can see clearly now. Alright. Marine's gonna go ahead and try to take on as many of the SCVs as he can. Well, they do end up getting their crap put out of them. They turn gray when they die. I wonder why that is. Oh, because they lose all their blood. Oh, okay. Now I'm sad. Anyways, lots of Marines here. Lots and lots of Marines here. But, folks, mrGBG may have the superior sieging position, but look at the supply. 108 to 175. And let me tell you, folks, at 182 supply, now 197 is not looking very happy at all. Looks like his first target is going to be this planetary fortress in the northwest position of nuclear precinct. Can he take it out? I would like to think yes. And it looks like yes, he's going to go ahead and try to take it out, but he decides to back off for now. For some reason or another, gonna go ahead and try to repair this planetary fortress, but right at the moment this is just a waste of your minerals. That is gonna go down no matter what you do. mrGBG trying for the Patriots kind of scenario. They called him a fool for putting an orbital command here, but I'll show them. Floats away to secret layer in nuclear precinct. I'll show them all if they don't die first. Which it looks like, by the looks of it, is probably gonna go ahead and get taken down. Meanwhile, our friend PlayAround on the opposite side of the map does end up taking over that planetary fortress. 97 to supply to 184,000. At least that's very well maybe what it might be, folks. May as well be, folks. As there's just no stopping this army unless it comes all the way around and he takes critical damage in doing that, and we have a 94-minute game on our hands, which I am optimistic won't happen, folks. I think around PlayAround is a good enough way to go ahead and shut this out from here. That siege tank gets shut down. These siege tanks have a nice position over here. Do they have a good enough position? Yes. Is it going to hold? Absolutely never in a quadrillion years. I mean, but it is PlayAround, folks. I am not quite certain. We'll just say his Marine micro hasn't been exceptional. We'll just call it pre-alpha minus Marine control. That seems like a perfectly PC way to say his Marine control is absolutely Wiener Schnitzel. But now he has a chance to prove me wrong. Not splitting his Marines. Okay, so maybe I was a little bit right. Look. I'm not laughing at him, I swear. It's just the amount of death that occurred in such a short period of time. Oh, I'm so sorry, PlayAround. I'm an asshole, I know it. There's a lot of There's a lot of unused army over here, so he still has that to go ahead and rebuff the deck from my friend Mr. GBG. These siege tanks are going to go ahead and get taken on out. Mr. GBG has a tiny glimmer of hope, maybe. Gonna go ahead and try to take those Pantry Fortress. At this point, folks, I just think it's a vendetta. Trying to take out as much PlayAround as he can before he leaves. Looks like a nice little bit of Marines have some fire on their asses from them siege tanks, and looks like he is gonna go ahead and try to stem on forward. We know how that's worked out for him in the past, but I think finally, folks, the writing is on the cat's bag, and PlayAround has finally broken the backbone of Mr. GBG for the 3rd time. And we all know you don't come back after the 3rd time, folks. 35 supply to 162. That is what? Almost 5 times the supply. Actually, almost 6 times, I meant to say. 13 Marines in production to the 2 siege tanks. This is looking pretty damn good, folks. And right now, I can just follow Control-Shift-F. And now we watch as the game unfolds in its natural state. In fact, during these concluding moments of the game, I'd like to take this moment to go ahead, kick off our PlayAround with the awesome comeback and put on the player camera. And he quit as soon as I tried to do something cool. But anyways, GG is called, and our friend PlayAround is victorious. Actually doesn't want to stay out of the game. We do have his player camera, so we're all going to honor that request. He's like, aha! I knew it! And now he's left the game as well. So, you know what? A very nice TvT. Whoever sent this in, 1,000 kisses. Strictly platonic, of course, unless your last name happens to end in Artanis. Good play from both pairs. I feel as though our friend PlayAround, you know, just had the superior economy, outpositioned our friend mrGBG before he could outposition him. Those three, this triple factory possession was really working wonders for him, but just got caught out of position a little too many times. Needed to do a little bit more harassment to get back into this game. Mr. GBG played. PlayAround actually played pretty fantastically, I'd like to say, as far as macro is concerned. Needs some work on its little Marine macro. I'd have to admit that was not the most spectacular highlight of this Matcherino. But hey, folks, nobody is perfect. That is why we play Starcraft, don't we? Mr. GBG just needed to play a little bit better. But hey, shoulda, coulda, woulda is the story of Starcraft. And everyone, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and leave an like on this video. If you did indeed enjoy it, it helps me out more than you may think. You can go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more daily Starcraft 2 content. I forgot something, didn't I? No, I didn't. You go and subscribe to the channel for more daily Starcraft 2 content. Whew, that was a nice one. And remember, folks, the internet could always use more heroes. Transition to the outro.